Well, I don't get my emails.
All right, everybody, we're about to begin. I'd like to welcome everybody to everyone to the June Police Accountability Board meeting. We'll start off with introductions.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Dr. Leslie Myers Sloan, and I proudly serve. This is some feedback.
Mine's are too close together.
No, I turn mine.
Proudly serve as the executive director.
Hello, I'm Wanta Club, and I am the East District Council seat appointee.
The Reverend Keith Patterson, I am an Alliance seat member.
Rabbi Doris Settle, Vice Chair and Northwest Council seat appointee.
Larry Knox, Board Chair and Northeast Council seat.
William Clark, I'm the mayor's appointee.
Yvonne Wilson, and I am a city council seat.
Thank you, everybody, for attending in person and online. We'll start off with our approval of the meeting minutes, which are in front of you and were emailed out. Any additions, changes, subtractions from the minutes?
No,
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes. All in favor? Minutes are approved. Those will be up online for you to see shortly. Okay. Dr. Smalls.
Thank you and good evening again. Board members, you have a pretty full packet tonight. There's a lot of information, and that's certainly not atypical as we are approaching the end of the fiscal year. So there's a lot of updates or there's some final reports in there. So if you will look in your folder at the board report for June 2025, and I ask that you follow along from there. There is a lot of information, a lot of good information. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to share the Police Accountability Board's June 2025 report. This past month has been a season of continued progress, intentional adjustments, and purposeful collaboration as we remain firmly committed to our charter responsibilities, even as we adapt to the realities imposed by the Locust Club 2 rule. So let me begin with community engagement and public affairs. On Friday, May 30th, we participated in City Council's fiscal year 25-26 budget hearing. It was very thoughtful, there were productive conversations, and I certainly would like to extend my sincere thanks to Chair Larry Knox and Vice Chair Doris Settle for showing their support in person on Friday. The feedback we received reinforced the Council's investment in transparent civilian oversight. As a part of our follow-up, we're going to begin providing monthly website utilization reports to Council, sharing the board-approved policy and oversight agenda, and preparing our collaborative Council work session to review the finalized strategic plan. We also have completed a one-pager. On Friday, I suggested a Venn diagram, but as we went through the process, we did a comparison chart. Thank you. And so you actually have that in your packet. We were intentional in using the traffic light colors of red, green, and yellow, and it outlines how civilian oversight has evolved pre-PAB, so with the Civilian Review Board, the original PAB post-2019 charter, the post-Locust Club 1 ruling, and then the post-Locust Club 2 ruling. So you have that for your engagement, and that will be sent out very shortly to City Council. In staff development, our PACE team, and again, PACE stands for Public Affairs and Community Engagement, they delivered charter mandated training featuring sessions on gender identity and expression. That was from our communications manager. And we also had a training from our community engagement specialist on our community engagement strategy. The weather has taken a change for the better in Rochester, and so we will be out and about in the community. And so it was important for us to conduct a training for our staff. I want to thank, again, Board Member Knox, Board Member Wilson, and you were also there, Luan, so thank you for being there. It really does make it means a great deal to the team. On the media front, I had an opportunity to speak with Spectrum News, and they're doing a statewide feature on policing, civilian review boards, on police improving their images. And so we were focused on for our police accountability board. The segment aired a few days ago, and it lifted up the work that we were doing, and it actually was a really good piece. I was really proud. So that link was sent to board members the morning after. Also, our board members are upholding their district engagement duties. The East District report has been completed, and there will be upcoming meetings in the South, Northeast, and Northwest districts. They're underway. These conversations are not only mandated in the charter, but they're vital for our board to stay connected with the people we're responsible for serving. So let's shift to case management and investigations. Following the court's ruling, our division, formerly known as the Investigations Division, has shifted to a documentation forward model focused on evidence preservation and accountability. We're implementing a new source of information request process and have standardized tools like status update letters and evidence protocols. In May, we carried over 314 open cases. We received 4 new complaints and initiated 13 investigative plans related to pre-ruling matters. In policy and oversight, our 2025 agenda has been published for a few months. Thank you for your support in that agenda. Focus areas include vehicular pursuits, sexual assault investigations, mental health crisis response alternatives, and the use of artificial intelligence in law enforcement. These topics were selected because they reflect current needs, community input, and the evolving nature of public safety. Moving to internal operations, our leadership team continues to meet regularly to focus on morale, collaboration, and post-ruling strategy. Also, the Deputy Executive Director / General Counsel position closed. And we're in the process of, we're waiting to receive the applications from the Department of Human Resources. And we're also in the process of meeting with the Department of Human Resource Management on June 11th to review the proposed description of the Accountability and Transparency Department. So that shift from investigations to accountability and transparency. So we have job descriptions and division structure. On the technology and communications front, I'm proud to report that we continue to take steps to ensure that our website is more accessible and user-friendly. I just want to insert here to thank again City Council for allowing us to shift from having a part-time webmaster to a full-time. So we're working on things like ADA compliance, Spanish language expansion, looking at other languages that are frequently spoken in Rochester, because we want to ensure that we're working to meet the public where they are. Monthly reports show increased engagement, especially on our investigative, or the formerly known as investigative and governance pages. And you actually have in your folder both the May and April 2025, not only the website utilization, but executive summary. So monthly reports show there's increased engagement, especially, oh, I said it, I'm sorry. So this engagement tells us that the community is paying attention to the Police Accountability Board, and we're committed to making sure that access to our website is more meaningful. In terms of collaboration, I'm pleased to share that we did present at the Citizens Police Academy last Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. And we continue to coordinate closely with the Rochester Police Department and City Department. We're also planning public education sessions to explain how we are moving forward in this post-ruling environment. On May 13th, we were honored to present at the NACOL, again, National Association for Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement. They held a regional conference in New York City. Both Director Dejan Hall and myself were asked to present on 2 separate panels, and Ho Jin Choi, one of our staff attorneys, also attended. Our participation ensured that Rochester remains visible and respected in national oversight conversations. On the same day and at the same conference, I formally proposed the creation of a New York State consortium of civilian oversight agencies. This consortium will share best practices, push for legislative reform, and support one another during high-profile oversight efforts. The proposal was well received by both NACOL as well as other agencies in New York, and I'm excited that the Police Accountability Board will help lead this critical collaboration moving forward. I want to just insert here that Chair Knox had begun this work, I know, probably over a year ago, and we've been able to add additional information to it and bring it to fruition. As of May 31st, our case data includes 4 new complaints received and routed for policy review, with no cases inactive or closed at the time. And what's important, I want to put a pin here or make sure that it's very clear that the community still can submit complaints. We cannot individually investigate a particular complaint relative to a particular law enforcement officer, but we can look for trends, we can look for patterns and practices. So please continue to submit the report. This snapshot reflects both our evolving approach and our continued diligence to oversight. So in closing, I just want to take a moment to offer my deepest appreciation to each and every board member. You had to deal with me for this past year, and we had a lot going on, and it was very bumpy at times, but you all really hung in there. The hours that you commit to reading data, reports, legal reports, and certainly the questions that you ask are very thoughtful and they're very reflective, and they certainly demonstrate your dedication to civilian oversight, and so it does not go unnoticed. You are not just fulfilling a role, you're helping to shape a legacy, and I would even dare say history in Rochester, New York. So to Chair Larry Knox, thank you for your steady guidance and thoughtful leadership and taking phone calls throughout the day. To Vice Chair Dora Settle, your unwavering dedication for being one of the original board members.
The only left.
Right, to your current leadership role is nothing short of extraordinary, and so we thank you as well. Your presence has helped shape the heart and integrity of this organization from day one, so we thank you. So it's because of all of you, because boards don't operate as singular entities, it's the collective passion, expertise, and knowledge that make up the board. So it's because of all of you collectively that the PAB continues to press forward with clarity, with courage, and with community at the center. That concludes my June 2025. Any questions?
I had one about the, you mentioned it towards the end with new complaints received. because that's a lot lower number than we normally get over a month. Of course, the ultimate goal is to never have complaints, but
Sure.
that's far away, unfortunately. So I'm guessing our thinking is because of the decision that's maybe dissuaded people from thinking putting a complaint in could have any efficiency as opposed to before. So other thoughts or ideas about getting the word out even more with getting our complaints in? And what can we say to people, or how much can we say regards to if they do a complaint, although it's just a policy team looking at it, we're confident in winning this appeal, and then that information is there already for us to be able to look at the reports like we did previously with doing a full
Yes.
investigation, correct?
Yes, so a few things. Earlier in my remarks, I mentioned that we had a training by the PACE department. And so part of that was to review and make sure that our staff are comfortable going out. So as I mentioned, we are going out into the community to make sure they do know that they still can submit complaints. So that is in progress. We'll be next door tomorrow at Parcel 5, we'll be at Square Fair on Saturday, and we have a lot of events that we will be participating in and making sure we get the word out specifically that they still can file complaints. And what was your other question, Larry? I'm sorry.
Just making sure people have the understanding that if and when we do win the appeal, that means the complaints can be investigated like they were before.
Thank
And
you for
so it's a
that.
pause on that as opposed to it staying the way it is currently.
So under the direction of Dolores Ivy Page, who oversees case management, she worked with the team to create scripts. So when individuals call in, we do give that information and we have a follow-up letter. So we can make sure we send that information home in case you're approached, so you know what we're saying, so we have a uniform and consistent message.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I just want to say too, in turn, how lucky we have been to have you for the past year, and how impressive your leadership and dedication have really been. It's been wonderful working with you. The question was about the Citizens Police Academy. When is that finished? When is the last class?
It finished
Okay.
yesterday, correct? It was the last class.
Okay, would the folks who participated do a training for the board about sort of what you learned and how we might,
Oh, okay.
make use of that information? Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I did meant to uplift that in my comments. We had several staff members, including board member Reverend Keith Patterson, participated in the training, and so absolutely we can come. I know that it helps with this reimagining public safety, and it helps to address the relationship that between the Police Accountability Board and between RPD. We have certainly access to training from some of the higher level officers, but some are the everyday officers who are out in our community, and we ask thoughtful questions. It's a very respectful dialogue, and I'm glad that we do have the opportunity to take staff through that. And board members have to do it as well. Mhm.
Okay, I don't have a question, I have just, to add on to what we're doing with the community. I think it's awesome that we are going into the community, that we are still taking, complaints from the community.
Mhm.
And I just want to add that, as a community, it's not the PAB board or the board members or the alliance or the city council or the mayor. Okay, it is the citizens of Rochester, New York. And it's just not for, I wanna say, people of color. It's for all people, everybody who lives in the city of Rochester, no matter what language you speak, no matter what creed you are, no matter what religion you are. We desire to have a safe place for you to come, so that if someone on the RPD happens to do something that's out of order, and you think it's out of order, we still want you to engage in letting the PAB board know, so that although right now we can't, go out and investigate or get, we still are concerned, and we are also thankful and believe that, we shall prevail. But we need the community behind us. There's gonna be a lot of community engagement, especially this summer. So I guess what I'm trying to say is get up off your chair, get out your bed, get off the TV, stop complaining about the PAB board, and come out and support your community.
So I'll move to the charter for fulfillment.
Oh, no, we're not.
Right, you have the PowerPoint in front of you, and we'll upload the PowerPoint on the website as well. I am very, very excited to share just a very high level summary of the fulfillment of the Charter Section 18. And, for the public, the board knows this very well, but to make sure that the public is in the loop, what makes the Police Accountability Board is through legislation through City Council. And there are multiple pages that outline what the PAB does, everything from how an individual can become a board member, the type of training that we need to receive. When we could investigate, it outlined that entire process. It talks about the work of policy and oversight. How are we to engage with the community, so on and so forth. And so we have spent several months as a team, with the leadership team taking the lead to put together this draft document. And the reason why it's a draft is because we are not at June 30th yet. So we have to work through the lens of a fiscal year of July 1 through June 30th. But this is the majority of the work that needs to be accomplished. If you break the charter down, Charter Section 18, there are 7 big tasks that need to be accomplished. Now, there are multiple responsibilities under those tasks. And so certainly what we did was we had divisions take the lead that just naturally made sense to complete the document. So what you have in front of you, again, is a 30, what is it? It ended up being 40 pages, I believe. 41 pages of how the Police Accountability Board has fulfilled the charter. And that's huge. It's really important, since the community is the reason why we are here, for them to see that we are completing this charter with fidelity, right? And that we, I'm gonna use a phrase of a former board member I used to work with, we have receipts to show very specifically how we've done that. And so I'm just going to, on a very high level, I wanted to just share this with you since it is June, but I would like to spend time in the summer, and we'll go in depth, and maybe we can have like even a work session around this. And I think it would even be important to have a work session with City Council around this, but this shows how we fulfilled the charter. So I just want to uplift and thank the staff who contributed to this. This really is our lifeblood and our life work over this past year. So I'm really, really proud. So on slide, you have a PowerPoint in front of you, and I'll just go through slide by slide. So I want to thank you certainly for being here again tonight as I share an update on the charter fulfillment. So we're gonna walk through how we, as the Police Accountability Board, continue to uphold the values of transparency, accountability, and community trust, even in trying times. So again, the PowerPoint, if you'll just, because I needed to give mine to the side, to those who are signing, this is what the PowerPoint looks like, okay? Just make sure you have it. So slide 2, since July 2024, the Police Accountability Board has received 121 complaints and initiated 107 investigations. 26 of those have been completed. Following the Locust Club 2 ruling, we activated a transition plan that ensures documentation and tracking remain uninterrupted. So that goes to Chair Knox's question about making sure that people know that should we are able to pivot back and are able to investigate, that we can begin that work. So that process, is underway, that process is underway. So oversight may look different, but it continues. And so you can see on the next page, just a little bit of data relative to the complaint investigation overview. And again, in the document, it goes much more into detail. Slide 3, you all are very familiar with the discipline matrix. So our team conducted a full review of RPD's discipline matrix and proposed meaningful updates. And if you remember, our former Deputy Executive Director, Ben Whitford, really took the lead with the former investigations team. So we recommended new categories of misconduct and restructured the ranking tiers. Why? To ensure that discipline is fair, that it's consistent and transparent, just as the charter intends. You want to move to the next slide. Policy reform. This year, we issued two major policy proposals. One on mass gatherings and the other on the cost of misconduct. And as we are shifting or pivoting because of the Locust Club 2 ruling, we will be able to have additional proposals come forward because some of the former investigations team will be working on some of this work as well. So we'll be adding to the work. These proposals were shaped by insight from 9 public sessions and resulted in 12 concrete recommendations. This fulfills our duty under section 18-5K and continues our push for systemic change. Because I think what people don't necessarily understand, so it's not only reporting alleged police misconduct, but if there are issues with their general orders or with the ways that the Rochester Police Department are doing things, we can make recommendations to the chief, to the mayor, to city council for change. Next one, community engagement. And we've shown up in every single city district. We launched the Youth Advisory Council, so that was that subcommittee, so we've done a lot of work as it specifically relates to youth. We've expanded language access to include 12 languages plus ASL. We'd like to thank our language access coordinator for that work. And every staff member is now trained in language access and disability inclusion because oversight must reflect the people it serves. And board member Yvonne Wilson just pointed that out a little while ago, that it's important to make sure that we are inclusive and that we are serving our entire community. On the next slide, you can see the data, and we just broke out a little bit of information and data relative to the work. Next, with reports. I'm proud to share that we've stayed on schedule with monthly, quarterly, and annual reporting. These reports share real data, complaints, community engagement, and outcomes. And so per our charter, we are required, and the charter says that, to print the copies, and we have to deliver them to city council, to the mayor, and to each of you on the board. And those all have been submitted within the time frame, and they also are loaded to our website. So once we fulfill this document, this will go online, and individuals can actually click on the actual evidence to show that we just didn't say that we did monthly reports. We just didn't say we did quarterly reports. They can actually click on a link and they can actually see the receipt, right, or the evidence. So we don't just talk transparency, the Police Accountability Board is it. Slide 7, audit and evaluation. So Ben and I sat and we started talking about how could we fulfill this given our current structure and given currently how finances are allocated. And so we were able to use the strategic planning process to satisfy this audit. So this work aligns with our operations, our mission goals, our strategic goals, and our evolving legal reality. So we know that continuous improvement is not optional, it's essential. So if you'll move to the next slide, and this is task 7, this is training and development. And so we shifted staff or leadership, and so we're working to make sure that we access July, August, but we have September through April. And between that time frame, we delivered nearly 60 hours of staff training. Topics range from trauma-informed care to legal updates on oversight. And so this happens, as you know, as the board, this happens with in-house training, so we have staff. So as I mentioned, the Public Affairs and Community Engagement team, they conducted presentations last Friday. We have training certainly from NACOL, and others in the local community. 10 community and professional partners help us to ensure quality learning and full compliance with the charter. So we have fulfilled. As of June 30th, we will have fulfilled because we have one more training that our Director of Policy and Oversight is going to complete. So we really feel good about that. Because we come under attack sometimes that we don't have enough expertise or we don't have enough training. And I don't think people understand that not only do our staff go through training, but you as a board go through extensive training that is required per the charter. So we have fulfilled task 7. So slide 9 is our commitment and our resilience. So despite the April 28th court ruling, every charter mandate has been everyone. I'm really proud about that. So we've adjusted workflows, refocused our efforts, and stayed grounded in our mission. The police accountability board's work through policy, education, engagement, and transparency carries on. So again, I want to thank my deepest gratitude to the board for your time, for your commitment and wisdom, have made everything you've seen today possible. So we appreciate you, and we know that together we can continue building a model for civilian oversight that's rooted in justice, that's rooted in accountability, and it's rooted in the public trust. I open up for questions. I'm really proud.
You go first, I went first.
I just want to, ask a question. Can you hear me? Okay. We are fighting for our ability to write, written, recommendations to chief of police, whoever it is, to, train, whatever it is. We don't discipline them. But when you said that we still can, verbally, I want to suggest things to the chief of police or the mayor or whoever. Okay, I guess my question is, if I'm a white person, why, what's the difference? If we can't, do it written, and I'm glad we can, but why can't we do it verbally? If that's the answer.
I mean, you did maybe the difference between, the policy recommendations or discipline recommendations?
Whatever it was that she just went over.
My impression was, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think it's, because I had the same thought when she said, and I realized, we can still do the policy recommendations to everybody, that has not been changed. The discipline recommendations, individual cases are all the policy recommendations, either based off what we see from new complaints or based off the previous work of the policy committee, those recommendations to the council and the mayor and the chief. So it's policy recommendations are staying current, we just can't do recommendations on individual discipline.
Correct.
Okay, I'll leave it like that, because my brain be turning, because policy applies, is applicable to, right, to me, to discipline or suggestions for people to learn or do something different, but, okay, so thank you.
I did have a question. I had a question related to, us being refused to stay, from the judge. There was a reason given for that, or the judge just said no?
So that's something that we should really talk about in executive
Okay.
session.
No problem.
I had a question in regards to policy recommendations and that going to the chief and council. I know in previous years you sent things up that have or haven't come back yet. Have we thought about reviewing this, even recommendations we sent in 2023, 24, previous year time here, just to see what would happen with that one? Was there any progress? Was there any follow-up that we need to do?
Absolutely, that is on our radar screen, and I believe, Councilmember Martin also brought something tangentially related to that. So yes, we are going to follow up with that, and create the list, to make sure that we get a status update of where we specifically are, and if there's anything else that, to our knowledge that we need, that we'll make sure that we turn that around so that we can move forward.
Yeah, that could be helpful maybe for the staff to figure out, and you, like, from the website, there was like a page or something that had like an updated, here's our recommendations that went to council in August of 2023. Here's where it's at, take it into effect, taken under consideration, or, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
It'd be good to just have that public facing too.
sure, we can do that. But we're excited.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. KPIs. Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure, that you are all aware, but again, the public, we have what's called key performance indicators. I don't think that's the one that's not in there of the many. So we will have to bring that, I apologize. KPIs stand for key performance indicators. And so when we appeared before council, we are required to submit periodic updates to council. And we do an update at the end of January, then we do another update before we appear before council, so it goes through April, and then we will finalize a little after June 30th. And I just want the public to understand what are some of our key performance indicators. What are we looking at as far as our data? So the number of complaints that we receive, and if you'll note, when I did my update to the board, I noted some of the data and they are key performance indicators. So the number of complaints closed, this was really the key data point along with the next one. Because of the Locust Club 2 ruling, we will not be able, for the next few months, be able to close complaints, and we will not be able to complete complaints with findings and decisions submitted. And so we will not meet our target nor our benchmark for those two. And I just wanted to make sure that that was publicly communicated to the board and to the community. And it also is going to skew the average length of investigations because we can't do that stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that it was clearly articulated that closed, completed, and then the average length of investigations. Those three KPIs are going to be skewed, and so we will need to readjust our numbers should we get our investigative authority back. We'll have to look at that because we will have been on pause for several months. So I just wanted to be clear about that, okay? Thank you. And I'll make sure I send in the Friday letter, the KPI. Chair Knox, the only other thing I just wanted to share, just to make sure everyone was aware, you have the executive summary for the website traffic as well as the utilization in your packet. You have the PowerPoint for the charter check, fulfillment. You have the policy agenda review in your packets as well. And then it was also requested we submit the, organizational charts for 24-25 as well as 25-26. So that's in your packet. And then again, finally, we have the evolution of civilian oversight in Rochester, that one pager. So I just wanted to make sure it was clear what was in your packet. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that great reporting. We've come a long way. I think the work's been really good. The one thing with Dr. Myers and a lot of the, our current staff and our new staff and our staff that have been here for a while is this public reporting and this information coming out in more of just words, but online and in paper with lots of metrics. I think that's really important. We appreciate that. And council appreciates that, and community also, and reporters. Easier to report on what we're doing when we're this transparent. So as part of my chair's report, I have really 3 thoughts. One, as mentioned earlier, if you have a complaint or a policy idea, still call, still email, still go on the website and put that in. Although we are in a legal battle right now again, and we're confident and optimistic that we'll get a good resolution for the community, and having that information still coming into us is vitally important to making sure that you get what you want in regards to reimagining policing and getting your specific complaint looked at currently right now, in a wide view by the policy team, but hopefully back to our former manner soon or after the next decision. Also in regards to our board, we still have a couple open seats for the Alliance seats. I know they're in the midst of talking to members of the community. I did talk to the Alliance earlier today. They are still taking in applications for that seat, for the 2 seats that are open, and we're gonna have another seat open later in the year with Arlene, although we want to keep her as long as we can, but.
Isn't she open?
It's
We're open now.
Yeah, open now. Well, yeah, technically now, yes. But, so I do want to make sure folks in the community know if you're interested to reach out to the Alliance for the Alliance seats, the Northwest seat also, Rabbi Settle seat that she currently has. Those are board seats that are open, and we really need good people from the community to apply.
And if people are interested, where should they go?
Right, that's.
Thank you. So if you're interested, gosh, I don't remember the Alliance website. Google Rochester Police Accountability Board Alliance. They're on Facebook. I know they have a webpage. They have information. You can call our office too, and they'll give you the information to reach out to the Alliance. 428-9999 is our number here, or go to rogpab.org. And if you're interested in Northwest Council seat, you can reach out to City Council. They also have it somewhere on their webpage, a link to the application. You can also call the City Council and they can give you information, the process for applying for the Northwest seat. That process is ongoing right now, so definitely do that for the council seat and for the Alliance seats.
And actually, I'd like to suggest maybe we could put a link on our website that says, want to serve on the PAB, question mark, and it could send people to where they need to go for the various.
Thank you for that.
I'll give my 1-minute explanation to 10 seconds. Just going to rockblb.org/ want to join us. Yep. And the last thing I'll say is we met the board, a couple of the board members and the staff had their meeting or their presentation in front of City Council last week. Was really proud of the work that went into that, being able to sit and listen and support the members of our staff and especially Dr. Myers and the leadership in regards to giving a really detailed report. I mean, one thing that more than one of the council members said was they didn't have as many questions as they thought after the opening report by Dr. Myers. So she answered a lot of what they were thinking in that opening statement. And, we've had council members that have, rightfully sometimes had questions about what we were doing over the past few years. And a lot of those they've said have been answered and they're really happy with the direction we're going in, continue to go in. So I'm really proud of that work also. And same thing to community. I had, I want to say random people I know that know I'm on the board, expressing support, still for the work of the PAB and asking for updates about the court case. So I know that there is still a need for us. It's obvious. I think from the support we have for council and especially from the community. But I do want to encourage people, if you see us out in the community, even if you don't have a complaint, come and talk to the staff, talk to us as board members. We can give you information that you can share with your coworkers, your neighbors, your friends, your family. We have a really unique, again, I think I say this, maybe every other board member, but we're really unique in our country to have a funded as well, with the powers that we have, although they are under attack, Police Accountability Board. There are many communities, it's even our parts of the country and our parts of the state that don't have what we have. Our neighbors on either side of the thruway, Buffalo and Syracuse, don't have what we have here. Albany doesn't have to the same degree what we have here. New York City does, and yet they're going through some battles there. So the fact that we were able to get this when it was voted on, and the fact that when something new like this exists, it's going to come under attack. That's what we're dealing with. But again, it's really important that we do the mission that the voters voted us in for. I'm proud of our board and staff for doing that. We definitely need the community support to continue to make that happen. Any questions for the chair's report?
Can I just add one?
Yeah.
Chairman shared that, about the budget hearing. I just want to reiterate, because of our transparency of submitting those timely reports, the monthly, the quarterly, many of them mentioned that gave them a lot of proof or evidence that they knew the work and were comfortable with what we're doing. So they didn't have to ask, well, what exactly are you doing over there? And so that was very helpful.
All right, anything from committee reports? A lot of training from the staff, so that was definitely already talked about. Old business? Old business, anybody have old business they want to bring up? Any gripes from the past? No. New business? All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss our ongoing legal case with Locust Club. All right, all in favor? All right, not anticipating any votes in executive session, but we will come back at the end to close out the meeting. Thanks.
Our Director of Public Affairs and Community Engagement to come to the front to introduce our intern. She's here tonight. I'm so sorry, Hannah. Please don't take it. Other than it's been a long day, that's all. Charge my head, not my heart.
I thought she was a very impressive audience.
Remote, you need a mic.
Good evening, everyone.
Joyful evening.
Good evening, my name is Brittany Wells. I'm the Director of Public Affairs and Community Engagement. And over the last few weeks, we've had the opportunity to have an intern, a City of Rochester Fellowship, part of that program. And working with us at PAB is Hannah Ferguson. So I'm gonna give her opportunity to introduce herself, tell us where she's from and what school she's working with, and hopefully how she's enjoying her time at PAB. Here you go, Hannah.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah. I go to St. John Fisher. I'm about to be a senior. So I'm studying psychology and I have loved my time so far with PAB and I'm really looking forward to everything that I'm going to learn from this experience.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thanks, Hannah.
Off to executive session.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back. We are out of executive session. We took no votes in executive session. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All right, all in favor? All right, motion adjourned. Motion is passed unanimously. Please watch us on YouTube, share this, and you can go to our website to see the minutes. Thanks.